I didn't come out as such until my mid to late 20s. I knew as a teenager that I wasn't straight, but I didn't have a grand coming out. I didn't really do much about it until after my undergraduate degree, and then I realised that I wasn't happy and that I actually needed to be honest to myself and to the people around me. And I remember I built up coming out. I got myself into a real frenzy about it, and was convinced that all my friends would abandon me and would just think I was strange, and so I chose to make it as difficult as possible for myself, I think. And in the end, not a single one of my friends rejected me. I have wonderful friends, and they all basically said, we love you for who you are, not what you are, and who you love and who you have relationships with doesn't affect the friendship. Coming out to my family was perhaps more difficult, but my brother was brilliant. He just kind of shrugged his shoulders and wasn't really that interested. And I have a really wonderful relationship with him. But it was more difficult with my parents. I think it can be. They're a different generation, obviously, but I think they've come round to accepting it. And again, they accept me for who I am and what I am, and they love me because I'm their daughter, not because I'm a lesbian. Being out at work is not a big deal at all. I don't think it's even an issue for my colleagues. I work in a very tolerant, very liberal environment, and again, people very much treat me for who I am, and they respect me for my teaching and my research and the work that I do, not for who I'm in a relationship with. As for students, I don't know. I don't know if they identify me as somebody on the LGBT spectrum, or it doesn't even occur to them. I suspect it's the latter, that they're not really that aware, perhaps not even that interested. They're more interested in how I lecture, whether my lectures are interesting, whether they are going to pass the module or not. But I think if they paid attention, if they were really listening, perhaps some of the examples that I give, because I teach mostly international law and international human rights law, and quite often I will use examples about discrimination on the basis of sexuality, or talk about transgender people, for example. And so if people are paying attention, they might realise that actually I'm not straight, and that I have a personal interest in a lot of these issues. So yeah, it's just not an issue, which is really lovely. I think the city of Sheffield is a very tolerant city. I think the people are extremely tolerant. They don't judge. There's a very large LGBT community in Sheffield. It's perhaps not particularly visible in the same way that maybe in Manchester, you have Canal Street. So in terms of lots of gay bars and clubs, I don't think Sheffield isn't like that. But there's a very integrated LGBT community. So you regularly see gay couples wandering around hand in hand. I've certainly never experienced any negativity. I've never experienced any abuse or harassment within Sheffield, and certainly not at the university. And I've actually found, again, the fact that it's not an issue to be really refreshing. What would I have missed by not coming out? Everything. I wouldn't have the friends that I have, my family, my non-blood family. I wouldn't have the relationship that I have now. I wouldn't be happy. If I could go back in time and speak to my younger self about coming out, I would say, don't be so ridiculous. Don't be such a drama queen about it. Trust yourself. Trust your friends. Trust your family. Trust that they love you and they respect you for who you are, not for what you are. And focus on being happy and being true to yourself.